Hey traders, weekend video here. I try to go as fast as I can, similar to what I do in my daily videos here. Um, Please like the video if you like it. Leave just comments below if you see something I don't see. Please let me know about it. I do have a Slack group if anybody's interested, and a Discord group. Either one of those groups, if you're interested in, let us know. It's all free. I've been trading a lot, or I've been working a lot, I'm sorry, so I can't trade a lot right now. At any rate, please retweet me as well, also. Definitely retweet me if you get a chance. I'd like to get 100 views on these videos if I can every week. Try to build a base here. So basically, I'm starting with the Japanese yen. We have an engulfing candle to finish off Friday here with the Japanese yen. It looks like we're breaking, so it looks like a bearish pattern. That suggests more continuation going into first of next week. The yen breaking is the unwinding of the carry trade, so that's definitely something to be concerned about going into next week. Okay. Next thing we got to go in against us here. This is the yield inversion curve. You take the US 2-year divided by the US 10-year, and currently we are marking, we actually have a closing print below parity. So, so basically we literally uninverted to close the week out. So heads up, that is not a guarantee that that in itself is going to drive it slower. It typically doesn't. It takes about 60 days for that to all play out. But this is the longest period ever in history for the yield curve to be inverted. Okay, this period right here, period of time, this is the longest period ever in history for it to be that way. So be mindful of that. So today we started in a negative gamma situation, which once we in it, we tried to push up back above it. The moment we crossed back below that uh, put wall, it was just all clear to go short from that point on, and it just rocked it completely to the downside into possibly a gain fan support area. That's a potential gain fan support area. You never know. So I don't think that's going to be the case. I think we will be filling this gap on SPY, but only time will tell. Especially if that yen trade uh, plays out, and if we can get continuation. So we'll see how all the elements play out next week. But the yen does look like it. The carry trade does look like it's ready to break to new lows here. Things I'm looking at here also on the SPY here. The call wall right above us there, and the put wall, those represent next Monday's call and put wall area. So we are extremely close to Monday's call wall. So they might be trying to push us initially up into that call wall Monday morning. So my thinking is, depending on the yen, uh, they might actually take us up a little bit because we have a potential support area here. So let's see if they can hold the yen over the weekend. I don't know. We'll see what happens on that. We did break that gain fan on the Qs. Really bearish pattern here. So now we same deal this morning. We were breaking the put wall right out the gate this morning, and once we tried to push above it, in just a matter of minutes, you could have actually went short and not even given it much thought after that point in time. Okay, a little bit closer to our call wall here though, uh, going into the weekend. So be mindful of that. We still have one gap below us here on the Qs. I do think it's going to get filled, so sooner is better. So we'll see what happens here. If we break down on that yen, hell, we could be very early Monday morning. The cycle date suggests it'll end Monday. So if we could just have a bloodbath Monday, into this gap, that would be great. So we'll see what happens on that. IWM, we did fill the only gap. We've almost, I guess we're a few ticks shy of filling that gap here. So let's see if that, typically IWM fills its gaps. So I mentioned that a few days ago. So So be mindful of that going into next week. Diamonds. Diamonds are finally breaking down here. Breaking that purple line on your gain fans here. That was our tell to initiate a short. So, you know, we saw that yesterday on a lot of things in the market. Qs a couple days ago. So SPY yesterday was giving us the short signal. And you know, if you go back to SPY there, you can see what I mean here. Or wasn't yesterday, right there. On the 3rd, that was our short signal on SPY right there. Once we broke that purple line on our gain fans. Okay. Diamonds. So right in the middle of our call and put wall for next week. And see these dotted lines here? Those are Friday expiration. They don't have daily expirations on the diamonds. Okay, I'm going to go XLF. XLF, guys. So we do have a put wall down here at this prior to all-time highs. We're still above that. We are still above our purple line, so this is a bullish pattern until it's not. Bullish, you're looking for buy the dips on this pattern, in my opinion. XLP is another one. Very bullish pattern based on the pattern that I'm seeing and I've drawn out here. Way over here, XLP looks like it could potentially have some longevity in the bullish camp. Okay, it's not really until you break this line that the XLP is actually a really bearish pattern. So be very mindful of that. You know, we did not even close below this week's anchored VWAP. That was from this prior Monday, a week ago Monday. So you know, we didn't even close below that. So very bullish on that one. XLP. Let's go down the line here. XLV showing some profit taking on that one. We lost our anchored VWAPs early on here, but we did get. I had mentioned this that night when that happened, Thursday night or Wednesday night. I mentioned this, and anybody who took my advice, you got paid pretty good there on this setup here. This looks like a continuation lower. We're probably coming down to this and back testing these prior highs. So this is one of the ones that I'd be looking. And this only has weekly expirations as well. So you have to play it accordingly. Whenever you have the weekly expirations, price action actually acts differently than if you have daily expirations. So be mindful of that, in your trading. XLB's one they have monthly expirations, so I didn't even put that on there. Okay, so we broke momentum, so this is not an uptrending stock anymore. Okay, so we have broken our upside momentum. We're into a potential support on XLB, so just be mindful of that, a potential. But this is a broken pattern. Okay, this is generally the area you try not to do directional. If you're coming down, you stick with the trend down until it's proven otherwise. There's nothing here to say that this downtrend is over with. This is the type of things. This is a falling knife. So be very mindful of that. XLC. Another one. It's only got monthly expiration. And if you put your and this is a short dated gain fan. You can just see. Yeah, that looks pretty accurate. So we broke right here, the purple, coming down hard, very hard here. Doesn't look like we're into support yet on XLC. Like I said, this is a falling knife. You want to stick with the trend. You don't want to be fighting this trend here on XLC. XLK, your technology ETF. Don't want to be fighting that trend. We broke another major support here, so we have to think that we're actually coming down lower here, and so be mindful of that. Okay, there is a small little gap down here to be filled here on XLK, which could very well happen. So be very mindful of that. XLI. So we've broken our upside momentum, took out those prior all-time highs. Now we have to look for the downside. So this here would be our next target area. That kind of lines up. See, this all lines up with the bottom of this consolidation area a little bit here. So, you know, it looks like their buyers are willing to come in around this area here. They're willing to sell premium at these levels, or they were at least. Okay. I'm forgetting one. Let me think here. Okay, XLF guys. XLF, we're still in a very bullish trend. The upside momentum is not likely done. We did lose our short-term anchored VWAPs, but we're still above. We're still right above the prior all-time high breakout, or the prior breakout. So this is a bullish continuation pattern until it's proven otherwise. So be mindful of that. Okay, heads up on that. XLY guys. So today we broke. This is a day one break. Good chance we will get continuation Monday in consumer discretionary to the downside. Looking to fill this gap in consumer discretionary. Looking quite likely that it could be happening. So laggards catching up here to the downside. So be mindful of this scenario. Yeah, you really don't have much support to the top of this gap. So we're probably going to be gap down. So the more and more I look at these charts, suggest to me we're going to be gapping down Monday morning. You've got the yen charts telling us that too. Just a lot of things here saying we're gapping down Monday morning. Okay. Apple. Okay, guys. Apple. So, things I'm looking at. We do have an Apple event Monday. Be mindful of that. We do have an Apple event Monday that could initially put a bid in the markets. I'm not going to say it does. You know, we'll keep an eye on our yen and everything, but you know, a lot of times we can have a really bad day. They've tried to use to hold the market into that event and just get rid of the belly. That's happened sometimes, but you know, just be mindful of that. We do have the Apple event. I think it's Monday. And this gives you some idea of the calls and the put walls. I don't have my game fan on here. That didn't line up. I say that right there is the way it is. So bottom line is we are below the purple line. So in all likelihood, the Apple event is sell the news based off the gain fans. So just be mindful of that. The Apple event is probably a sell the news event on Apple. Okay. Microsoft, really ugly here. We're going to fill this gap. I'm sure right at the put wall. I would actually think early in next week, the way this is looking, that we could actually have a negative gamma situation on Microsoft. So, you know, you have to go out in a bigger time frame if that were to happen. 4-year here. See where Microsoft is? So, you know, we could be flash crashing down here into the 390s next week very easily here on Microsoft as a potential negative gamma situation. Given this pattern, I really think that's a high likelihood idea. 390 or worse setting up here for Microsoft. So heads up on that. Going forward, other ones, NVIDIA. We don't have any gaps. We are awfully close to the put wall. So this $100, there is a massive amount of put interest here on the put wall here at $100. We break that with any type of force, it is going to be a bloodbath in this market. If you go over here, that was one that really stood out to me. Look at 27,000, almost 28,000 contracts are sitting at $100. You know, that causes an unwind in the markets if you have that kind of money, trying to unwind out of the positions. So be mindful of that this week. NVIDIA has to hold 100. Okay. Tesla had a massive unwind, the 2-day rally. Massive. That was quite epic. Today's price action here. So, wow. Talk about a complete total unwind of the Tesla move. Amazing. Um, and they're at the 200. I think Tesla's got a massive, uh, yeah, 200. If you lose 200 on Tesla for any reason, it's going to be a bloodbath in the markets, just pretty much in general. So that's another one. 30,000, over 30,000 contracts open here on Tesla. So those are the two that really stood out for me. You got these massive put walls that are sitting out there. Other ones I want to look at here. Amazon's not really doing anything. If you go back over here, there's really no. Amazon's getting awful close to the put wall, and I was saying, Amazon's the biggest holding in XLY. XLY looks like it's going to go lower, so I'd be looking for a negative gamma situation here on Amazon. But keep in mind, even if you get a negative gamma, look at all this you got. So all these are clustered all the same area. That lowers the odds of a massive negative gamma situation in XLY because of how much is here. As you add these together real quick here, you're looking at 55, 6,000, almost 7,500 contracts open right here within 3 strikes. That's a pretty good barrier to try to support the markets against. So be mindful of that. That Amazon's probably they're going to try to support Amazon at this price point. Google, Google's actually breaking just about. We got 8,000 contracts. That's another one's got that's a great big massive at 150. There's a massive barrier, negative gamma barrier. You break that 8,000, it's going to be a bloodbath, guys. So we're right down here at the 150 area. We start breaking that with any type of force, and you got those 8,000 contracts that are forced to cover, and it's like, oh my God, So that's another one. I have been talking about Google breaking down. It is just getting ugly now here on Google, and look at this pattern right here. So basically, we got this prior all-time high right here. If Google comes in first next week, gapping down, breaking back into this prior all-time high, the entire market's dead. I mean, done. Might as well give up on it. Okay, guys, because that's 8,000 contracts all on this 150 strike. So be very mindful of that. What other ones are we talking about? AMD maybe. AMD, right here at the 140. I don't think there's any big ones that way at 130. Yeah, and nothing really close on that. Way up here, you got 5,000 at 130, but you still got a long ways to go for that. Any others? Google, Amazon, Meta. Meta's another one's got a cluster I wanted to point out, guys. I thought there was a cluster. Maybe there isn't a cluster. No, Meta's right. Can't really say anything about Meta. Nope, all those others, that's enough to keep you awake at night. Okay, that's all I got to say. Another thing about Apple, you do have a put wall. If you add those together, that's 12,000. That's 21,000 contracts, all within 3 strikes. So you kind of think, add those 3 strikes together, that's 21,000. So be mindful of that. A couple last little comments. SKEW is a measure of how much open interest in out of the money options, and one extreme or another. Right, extremely high means there's a lot of out of the money puts, and we're actually starting to see some prints coming off of the extremes. So people have made a bunch of money in the markets to the short side. We're starting to see the skew to start coming in. That's typically a leading indicator that the momentum's starting to wane a little bit to the downside. So in the out of the money puts. It doesn't mean we're not can't go a lot lower. It's just a pretty good thing to remember. So after going through my charts, the big problem going in Monday morning, that'd be Google. Google is the one after looking at everything here, knowing that there's that many strikes and we're right at 150 going into Monday. This is our problem child. So if for some reason, some sort of news-driven event or something, Google could actually be a bloodbath. I mean, see, a lot of the other stuff aren't ready for that situation. We're right there on Google to actually kick off another round of negative gamma for Monday morning. So that would be my top watch for Monday morning, a potential for Google to be breaking a major support. Okay, thanks for listening. And like I said, like my videos, retweet me, and all that stuff. Thanks a lot for coming in.